From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a major night tonight as Americans are trying to digest whether consumers will have money for the holiday season or not, because the retail sales numbers that came in this week were gangbusters, through the roof. Many companies reporting massive beats on those numbers. Where did those earning powers of the Americans come from if the jobless claims numbers are growing, if the debt levels are increasing, and if they're not getting stimulus? In tonight's recording, we have a lot of major breaking details. Your benefit raise, your housing market, your unemployment, and your fourth stimulus. That and more, the breaking news tonight on Evenings LA from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good night, good evening. Tonight we have a major show as Americans go into this final days before the holiday season and shopping like it's never going to end. What happened? We didn't see this coming. In fact, we were told that travel and leisure, hotels and air were going to eat up everyone's consumer spending this holiday season. Needless to say, it's very confusing. Needless to say, you need to get a stimulus check. In tonight's recorded massive stimulus checks, brand new stimulus checks, brand new for you. And there are lots of stimulus checks. The stimulus check update tonight is federal stimulus checks are paying out a lot of money. $300,000, 300 different checks. You're going to meet one viewer tonight who walked away with nearly 80 checks, nearly over $50,000 this week. I'm going to show you how to get $50,000 of hard cold cash in your hands this week as well. The big success stories happening routinely on this channel. Next up, we're going to go over inflation-related stimulus checks. They're beautiful and they're great. Then lifetime stimulus. This is money from the federal government, these FSC checks. And I'm going to show you why last night we had a game-changing event. Two shows, both back-to-back, and suddenly everything changed on this channel. It's big news, it's breaking, it's happening tonight. Next up, the Federal Reserve and why. We're going to lead with data tonight with the Federal Reserve because some of those governors are using analysis that's simply inaccurate. I'll explain to you why in tonight's recording. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, it's America's most watched show for financial news in prime time. It's America's #1 most watched show across the country for this subject matter at any time. It's LALATE, and the breaking news starts right here, right now, from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good evening. Let's get to the breaking news tonight. And good evening, everybody. It's a big night, and for joining me on a huge broadcast of LALATE live from the shores of Santa Monica, California. If you just found LALATE, welcome to this family. What are you watching? You're watching the #3 most watched financial news channel in America, broadcast, cable, or internet. #1 overall on this subject matter, because the stimulus coverage on this channel you're not going to see anywhere else. You're not going to see on your local news, your cable news, and I've gotten people $50 million since this channel launched less than 2 years ago. And tonight we have brand new success stories as viewers are walking away with $50,000 this week as well. What are you going to see in this broadcast? The economy, the future of this economy, your stimulus, your wallet, and also me. Let's get to the breaking news starting right now. Federal stimulus checks, FSC, are big, and they're nearly $300,000 of checks, 300 different checks, passed by Joe Biden, your president, passed by Congress. They're federal law, paid by the federal government, coming from those people in D.C. Your states have nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter where you live. Don't ask, what about my state? Don't ask about you specifically, because you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, this is for you. Married couple, if you make $150,000 less, this is for you. And if you're on SSI and SSDI, it's for you. Again, it's from the federal government, not from your states. Tonight, we start with the success story of Kimberly Romano, who tonight listened and learned and really earned. What is she sitting on tonight? Tens of thousands of dollars more than she had the night before. This is a brand new success story from this week. It's less than 48 hours old. Kimberly Romano says, I want to share this with all the Purple Hawks of the Purple Power family on LALATE that I applied for Check B and I got approved. How much did she get from just check B? And I got to give you a teaser. This is the first of many checks she got approved for. So for check B, she got approved for 18 months of about 5 checks per month. You can run that math real quickly. Let's say 20 times 5. Folks, that's nearly 80 MSC checks, 80 multiple checks. Where else are you getting 80 stimulus checks in your hand? You're getting it on LALATE. She got $360 a month for her HOA fees. She got her utilities, which are about 4 checks a month. And those total 5 checks a month approximately over 18 months. We don't know how much her utilities are. We presume they're about $2,000. If they're more, it's even more money. So $2,000 plus $360, folks, that's a lot of money. That's nearly $50,000. It gets better. She got $4,000 of back property taxes as well. Here we go. It's $50,000 approximately. That's just the first of several checks that she got on this channel. She also got check B. She also got check A, which is the weatherizing grant check. And what did she get? She got that money. It's $6,500 to $12,000. Wow. So we are approaching, somewhere between a $60,000 to a $70,000 payout. It depends on how much your utilities are. But boy, that is a success story that happens almost nightly on this channel. And do you want $60,000 in your wallet? Do you want $50,000 in your wallet, or $30,000 or $20,000? Or what about $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000? Dragon Triple member to all 3 channels is sitting on $170,000. You heard me right. Not $170,000, $170,000 that she has gotten from this channel. Mark, $166,000. Lorraine, $155,000. It's happening all the time. And tonight, I'm going to show it how it happens to you. But first, let's start with what happened last night. If you missed it, and I know this seems like a very different recording, it is, because last night was a very different turn of events. Last night, on the 6 o'clock show called Evening's Countdown, it was airing, and the live chat was open to everyone. Subscribers, non-subscribers, members, non-members. I was not in the live chat. I was not watching. After I got back in and I got a message to go look at the live chat, I was horrified. I was horrified. What did I see? I saw 7 different people, 2 of which were members and 5 of which were not even subscribers, saying the following: there is no money in my state of, and then they said the state. It was like a pile-on. It was like a train wreck. It was like a 10-car train wreck on the freeway. No money in Tennessee. There's no money in Alabama. There's no money in Texas. Just random states. All of them were wrong. All of them were posting nonsense, trying to discourage people in misery, as misery loves company. And what happened? They were all gone. They're all thrown off this channel instantly. Members thrown off this channel, blocked by me, and thrown off the channel because guess what? Federal stimulus checks are from the federal government. They don't care where you live. They don't care if you live in California or Nevada or Arizona, New York, or New Mexico or Wisconsin or Louisiana or Mississippi. They're from the federal government. It doesn't matter if you move across state, it's still from the federal government. The money is in every U.S. state. And it's massive sums of money. It's $50,000, it's $100,000, it's $60,000, it's $20,000, it's $10,000. It's in every U.S. state. So why would people write such nonsense in the live chat, let alone 2 members? Gone, thrown off this channel. But the story gets even more fascinating because guess what happened? I was so displeased that there was a pile on of 7 incorrect, false narrative, negative nannies, or however you say it, in that show that I made a show about them. I did. I made a show about them. I went live on a cell phone. This is not taped on a cell phone, obviously, but that live show was taped on a cell phone. And immediately when I said, I'm sick and tired of this is not 2020, this is 2022, you should be up to par with the news. If you're not, then keep it quiet until you learn the news. The show went through the roof. As soon as I went live, I said, this is what's going on, and it's not going to happen again. 300 people jumped the live chat, then those 600, then 800. Within 15 minutes, the show was at 1,000 views. Yeah. We've never seen numbers like this. It was literally through the roof. The video became the most watched show on this channel of the entire potential year in less than a year, in less than an hour. Why? 2 theories at issue. 1, I was in the live chat. and I was interacting and helping people and answering their questions. Number two, the video is open to everyone, like this video as well, for me to answer your questions, where, how does this work, and all that. And number three, people were excited that I really ousted out the false narratives, because now is the crunch time. This is the time in which you and I knew that a stimulus stampede is going to happen, but we really don't know what's going to look like, because it's very, it's a very confusing economy. We understand in a stimulus stampede that millions of Americans are going to come back to this channel or find this channel for the first time and say, I need money. I need money. And there's two things that are going to happen, or three things that are going to happen. One, they're going to listen, learn, and earn. Two, they're going to come in and say, no, 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 all of you suffer and live in misery like me, while the rest of us are getting stimulus checks. Or number three, maybe a combination of things. And viewers were ecstatic about that video. Tonight, we're going to go into the same notions about what's at issue as well. We're going to go over each of these incredible checks, number one. We're going to go over why incorrect information is going to really leave people by the sideline, especially in a very, very confusing economy. Number three, we're going to look at what's happening next week as we go into those holiday sales numbers. Not so much the price of goods, what the sales numbers are going to show for the wealth of this economy. And number four, we're going to go over what we saw this week with confusing data left and right. Let's start with the breaking news. The breaking news is that for the retail numbers, this is apparel, this is cars, this is shoes, the numbers are very confusing right now. And we're not even able to guesstimate or estimate where things are going, even when we have the data. This is what we saw this week. Target, miss, top and bottom. Revenue and profits. Walmart beat. Comparable businesses, one beat, one miss. Let's go to the next pairing. Macy's and Kohl's. Macy's beat, Kohl's miss really badly. Then let's go to very non-comparable businesses. Let's go into a Gap, which is sort of a middle stream price point, versus a Williams-Sonoma, which is very expensive. Items, beat and beat. They both beat. Confusing, very confusing. And yet we were told, and we believed, based upon those reports from American Express and also Visa and Bank of America less than 30 days ago, that Americans don't have money left over for discretionary spending. They don't have the money to spend on those goods during the holiday season. Apparently that was untrue, because apparently these numbers are through the roof for retail. Where are people getting the money to spend on these items? Tonight we have other breaking details, which is 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, then why is Walmart's earnings through the roof? Why are Williams-Sonoma's numbers through the roof? Low income, high income, both numbers are through the roof. Very confusing. As if that was not confusing, let's go over the Federal Reserve. Tonight, the Federal Reserve is running false and confusing narratives that inflation's starting to come down when it has not come down. You see what's going on? And as if that was not enough alone, then we have a bear market. The month of December, where stocks relatively trade down in a bear market, we're up a lot in the stock market, up 10% since September. As if there was any more confusing, the only thing simple in tonight's broadcast is stimulus. The only thing simple and straightforward, because I make it very basic for you, is stimulus. There are three categories of checks. The first one is federal stimulus checks. Federal, because it comes from the people in the Washington, D.C., the president, the Congress. They pay it, they administer it, they send it out. Your state has nothing to do with it. Don't ask, what about my state? It doesn't come from your state. Your state is probably bankrupt. Your state probably has a horrible governor. Your state probably has a disliked mayor or a disliked attorney general. It is not paid by your state. It's paid by the federal government, which has a lot of money. And over tonight's broadcast, we're going to go over how to get these federal stimulus checks today. They're brand new. They're called FSCs. Then we'll be turning to inflation relief stimulus checks. They are from your states. Not a lot of money, but icing on the cake is always really great. It always is also delicious. Then we go over to lifetime stimulus. And last night in that live show, a veteran literally was applauding me as I was applauding him. I was applauding him for his service to his country, and he was applauding me for finally, as being the only broadcaster, and I'm embarrassed to say this, the only broadcaster telling veterans how their raise of benefits will happen based upon the news that was released back on October 13th. No one's explained this to anyone. And it's really disgraceful that local news doesn't explain something so basic and so fundamental to the American walk of life. But I'm here, and I'm here to do that for you over this broadcast. Let's go first into the breaking news. The breaking news, of course, is those retail numbers. The retail numbers are very confusing. In this last week, we had Target miss dramatically. In third quarter corporate earnings release, how much of a miss? Down 50% in their third quarter numbers. Such bad news that Target actually announced that it's going to cut $3 billion of costs over the next 3 years. That's presumed to be layoffs, but they did not say the word. That's what it's presumed to be. Its counterpart, Walmart, beat dramatically. Confusing? Very confusing. Let's go over to Macy's and Kohl's. Macy's beat, and Macy's beat last quarter as well, because remember we came off a lockdown and everyone went to Macy's and Nordstrom's for brand new suits coming off a lockdown. But Macy's beat again. Kohl's did not. Kohl's missed so badly that Kohl's department store announced that they are revoking guidance on where their numbers will be for the rest of the year. Folks, that's really bad. And if you say, well, it's high-end markets, low-end, Dollar General is better than a Macy's, no, because let's look at the data that was released late yesterday. Late yesterday, the data that came in was high-end, middle, low, and high, and there was beats left and right. We had Foot Locker beat. We had Sonoma beat. We had Gap, which is, Gap is Gap. Gap was a beat. Ross department stores, dress for less. You think maybe it's a miss. Maybe people don't have discretionary spending because they'll go to Target or they'll go to Ross. No, Ross beat so insanely that its numbers were absolutely through the roof, and their daily numbers came in at, I think it was almost a 17% beat in those numbers released on that day. If this is confusing, equally confusing is what's going on in the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve tonight is really not my friend. Why? The Federal Reserve sent out a series of governors this week, and several of these governors said pure nonsense. Pure nonsense. That was not data-driven statements. It's just wrong analysis. It is not data. And usually I tell you, Federal Reserve governors are data. Jay Powell, data. Tonight they're not data. So let's start with the data. Where is inflation right now? Now that we understand those retail sales, let's go to inflation. Inflation was released in the latest consumer price index number last week, and it showed that every number was up, except auto or used cars, then apparel, and also medical. But the headline number, monthly, up. The annual number, up. And then the component parts, the rent, up. The groceries, up. It was basically a inflation is up report. The next report is December 1, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. And that seems pretty obvious. But when you look at these Fed governors, what do they say? Very conflicting statements. One Fed governor said, I need to see more data. Why? The data shows inflation's going up. What else do you need to see? It's still going up. Another governor saying, well, it was a great report. What's great in the report? Used cars went down one number out of 20 numbers in the report. The rest of the numbers were up. There's nothing good in the report. Number three, another governor said, even if it was a good report, we don't see a trend line just yet. Actually, you do see a trend line. You see a trend line straight up. I mean, this is pure nonsense by these Fed governors. And ultimately, the confusion comes back to hurt you. And that's why you have to get all this incredible stimulus. Let's look at the big stimulus of FSC, federal stimulus checks right now. Do you want tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks? Do you want multiple stimulus checks? Do you want lots of them? I'm going to show you how to get them right now. If you think back to last year and you ask whatever happened to MSC checks, remember what those MSC checks were supposed to be? $1,000 a month for 6 months. The first month, $2,000. A total of $7,000 with 6 checks at $7,000. What are my viewers getting tonight? 18 months of checks, not 6 months. And not $7,000, but $70,000. It's happening all the time, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Starting with the first 3 checks, A, B, and C, passed by the President of the United States by executive action. $100,000 of checks in just the first 3 checks, A, B, and C. Passed by Joe Biden in the month of March. They were passed by executive action, and viewers have gotten them since March. and you qualify. Single individual, 75,000 or less annual income, go get it. Married couple, if your annual income is 150,000 or less, you go get it as well. And if you're on benefits, go get it as well. Become a member, go right in this video, and get that financial freedom, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and rural benefits. Then came Congress. Congress asked more checks, E through K, bringing us to hundreds of checks for you, the Purple Power, the community of this channel. I'm going to go through each of these wonderful checks one at a time on this broadcast. Then the Purple Power got more checks, and they're all for you from me in the membership newsletter for Purple Power, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That LALATE newsletter now has also check L and M, N and O, P and Q. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, via the YouTube alerts. Go down that membership newsletter to apply for these incredible checks as part of the Purple Power. Become a member right now and do not wait. Because this is the money you deserve. This is the money you need. This is the money that's happening. This is the reality of the situation. And viewers are walking away with massive sums of money. Let's get some of that sums of money right now. Let's jump right into the first three checks, A, B, and C, that you should be getting tonight right away. The first check is $6,500 to $12,000. It is the first federal stimulus check from the federal government. It's called Check A on this channel. It is $6,500 to $12,000. Wow. For just one check. Yes. This is the check that Kimberly got. This is the check that Spelly got. Do you want a $12,000 stimulus check? How do you get that? You go on in this video, become a member, then get that membership newsletter, MFM-F, that's Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, via the YT alerts, YouTube alerts. Go down to where it says Check A, click the link, and go right and apply. It's that straightforward. Then you're going to go get Check B right after Check A. $15,000 to $80,000. It's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. And you already saw Kimberly at the top of this broadcast, who's sitting on 80 of these checks. Well, she is not alone, folks. Here is Frank Mancuso, days earlier. He got Check B, 18 months of mortgage. That's a lot of money, folks. A mortgage is usually about $1,000 a month. 18 months of utilities. That's about four checks a month, because you have about 4 utility bills per month. So that's about 5 checks a month over 18 months. There you go. There's that number again, about 80 to 100 checks. And 18 months of high-speed internet. We'll add that one in there as well. Frank Mancuso, listen, folks, join this channel. And in less than 30 days for just paying a few dollars, got that. What is the notion of even waiting on this? Why would you even consider waiting on becoming a member? You become a member right away. Frank Mancuso joined in less than 30 days for just a few dollars of becoming a member. That's what he got. Now, another viewer out of Florida, she got even more. She got 18 months of 5 checks a month. That was for her $1,000. It's 80 plus checks. You see it. Frank Mancuso, the other viewer out of Florida, and then Kimberly Romano, who we led tonight. It's happening all the time. Go into this video, become a member, get these big checks, big stimulus, more than I've ever had for anyone on this channel right tonight. But we're not done there yet. Go on in this video. And when you become a member, you're also going to go apply for Check C. And the Check C number that viewers are getting for money is just insane. It's absolutely incredible. And how long have we been doing Check C? Since 2020. I've gotten viewers $15 million over this channel in those last 2 years. What is Check C? You go down the video, join this channel, and then the membership newsletter at Check C. I tell you who to call, what to say, and how to say for rent, utilities, and more. 12 places to reach out to for those rent, utilities, and more. And what are viewers getting for that Check C on this channel over the last 2 years? $20,000 to $30,000 of rent, go get some Check C, become a member. There's Elizabeth at nearly $30,000. Here's Mark for utilities. Mark went from $6,500 to even more, but his brother-in-law got $15,000 of utilities. Same brother-in-law is getting $250,000 over 10 years for SNAP because he watched this channel. And here's Mark. He was at a combinations of checks at $32,000. He went to $50,000, then to $100,000, then to $166,000. Yes, he's now holding $166,000 because he don't LALATE as a member. Here's Lorraine. As a member, she has gotten $155,000. On this graphic, she was only, quote, only at $105,000. It's happening all the time. What are you watching? You're watching LALATE, the #1 most watched financial news channel in America for this. No one else covers this except me. I've been doing it for 2 years, and that's why the Purple Power is so successful, because people come here to learn to earn. It's not covered anywhere else. Don't use the inadequacies of your local news as a reference point. For me, I don't own those local news stations, and they are horrible. They don't cover anything or explain basic things like veterans' raise of benefits. They should, but they don't. That's why I exist. Number 2, this is the #3 most watched financial news channel on all subject matters across the country, with long, short, taped, and live programming. Moreover, now 3 channels, LA1, LA2, and LA3. 3 channels with 3 memberships, and any of those memberships deliver you the membership newsletter Monday through Friday. So go under this video, become a member, join the channel, go under this video, subscribe, and go under the video and hit that alert button so it's set to all notifications for all on. Dragon, a triple member to all 3 channels, is sitting on 177,000 tonight. Johnny is sitting on 80,000. More about his success story in a second. But he helped 20 friends and neighbors get $250,000. And then we've had a lot of viewers, even one viewer in the live chat last night reveal he had a success story. I forgot to bring my notes of him on air. I'll feature him tomorrow. Success every single day. If you've had a success story, post in live chat right now. I don't care if it's $100. I don't care if it's $100,000, because success encourages other people to do it as well. Ling Glenn was in the morning show today, and she confirmed her success stories. She has gotten from the channel 14 months of utilities, 5 months of rent, a tablet. She's a triple member. She's a triple winner, like Spelly, who got check A and check C. We've had multiple people getting 12 months or 14 months of rent and utilities in the last few days as well. What are you waiting for? Go under this video, become a member, and in the big second half, we're going to continue with these FSE checks. Then we're going to go over to those lifetime stimulus checks and also those inflation relief stimulus checks. Now, last night on Evening's Countdown, which is the 6 o'clock show, it was horrific. It was horrible. I wasn't watching, but when I came back into the studio and read the comments that had earlier aired, I was furious. Now, I understand what happened in 2020. In 2020, I'll be on air and people say, and I specifically remember Michigan, people said, there's no money in Michigan. And it was very funny because I actually had notes for every state in front of me. And Michigan, I said, here's Michigan, and this person got paid from Michigan from this organization. And Michigan, and I actually had 5 different organizations in Michigan that were paying money. And actually I had 5 success stories. We had nights in which, for example, there's someone from St. Louis that would be in the live chat that says, there's no money in St. Louis. And I'd actually have 3 other people in the live chat from St. Louis. And they said, yeah, there is. I got paid. There's nothing worse than someone being proved wrong by their neighbor. But that was 2020. I could understand that when this started, that people were trying to get used to and get warmed up. Folks, this is 2022. It's long gone that you should be understanding nonsense. It's long gone that you should be out to left field. It's long gone that you are coming to a educational, informational channel and you're not here to learn. You're here to spread nonsense. Get lost. That's not what this channel's for, and that's what I said last night. And that's why that video, apparently, that I recorded was a success story, because you need tough love. If you're here to post nonsense, get lost, because there's a lot of people that are really in time of need. And that time of need is going to be far more serious come January, February. The viewership of this channel all agrees, because people are running that credit card debt high. Highest credit card levels of a generation, says the credit card companies. They're spending at the stores because obviously these retail numbers are through the roof. So they're figuring out a way to put things on credit card, the ways I did not even know they could. And then it's going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart for them by February, March. And they'll be here as well and saying, do you have help for me? And so that anyone who jumps into a live chat that's not a member or a member or a subscriber or not a subscriber says, there's no money in an entire 200-mile radius state or 300-mile radius or 5,000-mile radius state, is horrible. It's horrible. That person is hurting the entire viewership of a state by posting nonsense. And so that type of person really needs to get lost if that person wants to do it. And trust me, if that person is you, don't do it. Now, what I loved last night's live show was the following. I was recording about how horrible that Evening's Countdown interaction was with those 7 crazy nonsense people. But then in the live show, it was like Nirvana. The people in the live show said, thank you, LA, for coming in and smacking some sense into people. Thank you, LALATE, for reminding me that there's money. And then what I particularly loved were the questions. The questions and answers that followed thereafter were exactly what they should be. Where is the money? How do I get the money? That's why I specifically loved what happened in that show. People stopped posting nonsense, and the small numbers of them, and suddenly started asking great questions. Show me how to get this. Where do I get this? How do I get this? That means you want to learn. That means you want to be taught. That means you want to earn. And that's what I'm here for. And that's why this channel exists, and all three of the channels. In the big second half, we're going to continue with this big stimulus. We're going to continue with the FSCs. Then we're going to go to inflation-relief stimulus checks. Then over to lifetime stimulus. And then we'll go back into the breaking news. It's a big show tonight. I'm excited you're here. I know it feels a little bit different, and that's what's been working in the last 24 hours. Different. Ultimately, if I get the message across to focus on the specifics of what you're doing, you will succeed. Remember, federal government, the people in Congress, this beautiful building, the people in the White House, like this beautiful building. Do what is said in the videos and you will succeed. As a viewer said last night, all they have to do is listen to you, LA, and then they will have the money as well. Guess what? I got a lot more money to show you in the big second half. We're just getting started. I'll see you back in 60 seconds. As tonight's big show in prime time continues, it's Evenings LA. See you back in 60 seconds with more checks in prime time. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in the big second half on the shores of Santa Monica, California. Hope you're having a beautiful day. It is November 2022. And massive stimulus is available right now. It is federal stimulus. Did you become a member during the commercial break? I hope you did. And if you just found this channel, welcome. You're watching the #1 most watched channel in America for this tonight. It is Evenings LA. It's prime time. It's LALATE Live. And we're going to continue with those FSC checks starting right now. The next group of checks were passed by Congress after Joe Biden's checks. And they are checks E through K. They're huge. There are lots and lots of different stimulus checks, and they're absolutely wonderful. Let's go through each of these E through K checks. They're all in the membership newsletter. And let's look at them right now. Check E, $7,500 stimulus check. Wow. Check F, a $4,000 stimulus check. Check G, a wonderful 30% off. Check H, a $2,000 stimulus check. Check I, $8,000 stimulus check. Check J, $8,000 stimulus check as well. And check K, $14,000 stimulus check. Huge. Then I found you for stimulus L, zero down payment. This is $100,000 on average for a loan is free grant, mortgage. And then M is $4,000 of free money. Stimulus N is how success breeds success. Stimulus N is a brand new tablet, computer, laptop, free internet. It's my favorite stimulus item of all of them. And I've been recording on this channel for several months, Stimulus N, but it all changed when John Maloof got it. In the live chat on Mornings LALATE, he said, I got it, and I'm watching you on the tablet. I said, that's incredible, John. And congratulations, now go get some more stimulus. And he did. 2 days later, $24,000. But his success story, which I recorded on camera as I'm watching it right now, inspired countless others. Inspired Spelly, who then got the tablet. And Spelly, his success story I recorded, inspired Lynn Glenn, who then got the tablet as well. So this is how success breeds success. If you've had any success story, post it in the live chat right now, and also send it to me on private message on this channel. Then comes Stimulus O, which is 0 down payment, 0 closing costs, and no mortgage mortgage insurance required. And then Stimulus P and Q. P is a wonderful 3% down, and Q is $4,000 of free grant money. There you go. Those are the wonderful FSC checks. The totality of them, let's go over the summary and some more details. First, federal government pays it. They administer it. They run the website. They pay the check. They put the stamp on the envelope. Your state has nothing to do with it. So do not ask, is it in my state? It has nothing to do with your state. It doesn't matter if you move across state lines. It doesn't matter if you live in 2 states. It's not from your state. It's from the federal government. So do not ask, is it in my state? It's in every U.S. state and every U.S. territory. Number 2, largest check, $100,000. Smallest check, $8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny started on Monday. By Wednesday, $45,000. By Friday, applied for 15 programs, got half approved. 8 approved, 8 rejected, and got $80,000. The following week, he helped mom $50,000, dad $50,000, gift from this channel. Then he helped those 20 friends and neighbors get $250,000. We have money for lots of different items. The home appliances, the home repairs, the computer, the car, and more. The mortgage, the rent, the utilities. It's just all incredible. These are federal stimulus checks. We lead with federal stimulus checks for an obvious reason. You're going to have 2 years of recession. I was the first American broadcaster to record early in the year, almost in February, that the U.S. economy will endure 2 years of recession into 2024, with the far more significant parts of the recession being felt in 2023 and 2024. That's why you need massive FSC checks. They're tens of thousands of dollars. If you're sitting back and waiting for ISC checks, which I'm going to next, then you're not focused right. Why? Because ISC checks are icing on the cake. They are $600, $800, $1,000 checks. What is $1,000 going to do for your bills over 2 years? Not much of anything. They're good for icing on the cake, but they're not more than that. That's why you lead with the FSC checks. And then if you get some ISC checks on, well, good. How do you learn about these inflation relief stimulus checks? First, they're from your state. Second, they are in the membership newsletter, Check D. Click the link and open Check D. It's like Donut. It lists the states, the website for you to track it from the states, and then the amount of the check. And then we go to the lifetime stimulus, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Now, last night was really so groundbreaking in so many regards, but it also became groundbreaking when a strange interaction and a fascinating twist happened between me and one of our wonderful veterans. There was a wonderful veteran in the live chat, and he had a question in that live show that was taped on a cell phone with no lighting and just basic rudimentary, and became one of the most successful videos ever of the channel of 2022. The veteran said, LALATE, what is the next raise of our benefits? I said, let me remember. It's 5.9, then 8.7. He said, okay. Does the 8.7 replace the 5.9? I said, no, it doesn't replace. This is very critical to understand. And this is what I record every day on the videos. And yet, no one else explains this to our armed service personnel, to our veterans, to our seniors, to our SSI or SSDI, our Social Security recipients. No one explains this to you. How can they live with themselves not explain something so simple and yet so fundamental? He asked, does it replace the 8.7, replace the 5.9? No, it doesn't replace. It raises your benefits up an additional 8.7 on top of your current raise of 5.9. Here's an example using a skyscraper and an elevator. 2 years ago, you're on the first floor. Last year, they raised you up 5.9% to the second floor. Next year, they're going to raise you up 8.7%. That's bringing you to the third floor. Jay Powell says there's going to be 2 more years of inflation, so that's going to raise you to the 4th and 5th floor. Yeah, you're going to keep on going up till you reach the 5th floor. If there is no inflation after you reach the 5th floor, then you stay at the 5th floor the rest of your generation, for the rest of your lifetime. Yeah, it's that incredible. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Now, what about that 5th floor? Once you reach that 5th floor, it gets even better than that. Why? Because the cost of goods are currently at the 5th floor. The milk and the eggs are currently at the 5th floor, at the highest level of prices of a generation. They're coming down. So when you reach the 5th floor, they'll be the cheapest of your lifetime. So by that 5th floor, you will have the largest check you've ever had, and the items you're buying will be the cheapest that you ever bought them at. Wow. It's all incredible, great news. And that's why it's so important to really focus on the data. And that's why I'm deeply bothered by these Fed governors and their comments this week. Their Fed governors' comments are just, some of them are great and on point and data-driven, and some of them are just pure nonsense. Pure nonsense. So let's jump into the comments that came from those Fed governors. You know I don't mince my words. And some of them I'm just shocked and horrified that Fed governors would say such complete nonsense. First, let's lead with Mary Daly, who's the Fed governor out of San Francisco. She said the following. Number one, she said that she is looking for live data, and she's finding that live data in her communities. It sounds good to start with, but it gets very bad, her narrative, very quickly. Why? Last week, we had the Consumer Price Index for inflation released. In there was the rent, aka shelter. It showed that the rent went up the highest of a generation. How high did the rent go up in the latest CPI, which is less than a week old? It said that on a monthly basis, the rent went up 1%, which is the highest monthly gain since 1990, and up 6.9% year to date, the highest rise annualized since 1982. So the rent in the CPI that was released last week was literally screaming to the sky, going through the roof. What did she say? She said, Mary Daly, I'm more dependent upon live data. And I went to my community, and I asked the landlords, and I asked the renters, and they said the prices of rent are coming down. Okay, there's so much wrong with that comment. First, it basically says that a number that was going through the roof, rent, in a report that is less than a week old from last month, has no longer gone up, but is now actually going down. Does it sound believable? It doesn't sound believable. That something was going up so quickly and so aggressively upward has simply reversed and suddenly going down. Number two, if you think about this, there's a problem with what she said. She's using live data from her area. Yeah, this is a big problem. Live data from San Francisco, which is really one of the most expensive rent areas in the country. Live data localized is not an indication of live data nationally at all. That's why I always ask you, where do you live? Comma your state. Milk and eggs, comma your state on the live data. So what she's saying in there is very, very troubling. Moreover, what's also troubling is the rent has been up every single month on this channel this year, 1% a month. So for her to say that she sees that there's some live data that shows inflation's going down, not the case. Now, she's not as bad as some of the other comments that came in because they were actually even worse. Let's see what some of them said. I think Christopher Waller was perhaps the worst. Christopher Waller said the following. When looking at the latest Consumer Price Index report that showed it went up compared to the prior month, showed it went up compared to the prior year, and showed the component parts all went up with the exception of auto and apparel and medical, what did he say? This is welcome news. What's welcome news? It showed inflation went up more. What are you talking about, Waller? What do you mean it's welcome news? And they says we must be cautious about reading too much into the inflation report. Why? I don't know how sustained the deceleration, which is downward, in consumer prices will be. I know what will be decelerating is your mind thoughts. What do you mean deceleration in consumer prices? What the world is Waller talking about? This is pure nonsense. Christopher Waller, what are you talking about when you say there's deceleration of prices? in the latest CPI report. The latest CPI report shows shelter was up 1%. It showed fuel oil prices up 20% in 1 month. That's utilities up 21% in 1 month. It showed food up 0.6% in 1 month. I mean, what is he seeing that went down in the 1 month deceleration? He's looking at used cars. Are these all used car salespeople? What does he see this went down? There's nothing that went down. This is why, starting yesterday, you heard me for the first time ever, and I'm going to remove Jay Powell from this equation and say Fed governors. Fed governors are now analysis for my purpose. Fed governors are no longer data because they're now starting saying ridiculous things that is not the data. This is not the data. What Waller's saying is not the data. It is wrong analysis. It gets even worse. He gets even more crazy. I cannot emphasize enough that one report does not make a trend. Think about that. The report was up. The report showed inflation going up, and he says one report does not show a trend line of inflation going down. Well, obviously, there was nothing in the report that was down practically, but it actually does show a trend up because it's the latest report that's up. I mean, this is pure ridiculous nonsense from Waller. He says far too early to conclude that inflation is sustainably down or headed to sustainably down. It's not down in the report. I mean, altered universe, fake facts, false facts, Earth to Mars, aliens have invaded, Sasquatch is alive, Loch Ness Monster is running for president. I don't know. What is going on with Waller? These comments are pure nonsense. And it's from a Fed governor who's going to choose how to guide your economy through this recession. Now, we also had one other governor and Boulard out of St. Louis. Do you think Boulard got it right? Are you from Missouri in the live chat? Are you from the Midwest in the live chat? Are you from Illinois? Do you think the guy from St. Louis got it right? Well, let me tell you what he said. So far, the changes in monetary policy appear to have had limited impact at all on inflation. Ding, ding, ding. He's right. But market pricing suggests that maybe prices are expected to come down in 2023. Ding, ding, ding. He's probably right. To attain sufficient restrictive levels, we'll need to continue to increase further. Ding, ding, ding. He's right. Wow. One governor who got everything right, and then two governors that sound, and one that actually sounds crazy. So there you go. Confusing, not when you put the data first. Now, we're just days away from the holiday shopping season. Black Friday is a little bit different this year than prior years because Black Friday has been going on since October. Black Friday sales have been going on since October. And so the gauge of consumer spending by putting a cameraman outside of the department store on the day after Thanksgiving or the night of Thanksgiving is no longer the same news story it was maybe 3 years ago. But you and I are still going to watch with our eyes and ears. The local news put the broadcaster with the fur coat outside the department store interviewing the one person who camped out 5 years to get those lobster shorts on sale. Bad choice. We're going to all watch that and wonder, will there be long lines at the stores? That's the story that they always run that week of Thanksgiving, long lines. What I really want to see, though, is if a news reporter, and you know they're not going to ask the person the question, how did you pay for the item? I want to see if the news reporter really has the strength. I was going to use another word, but I'm not going to use it. The strength, the guts, to ask the person shopping the store, did you put it on credit or did you pay with cash? Because if the new report out tonight says 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, where are they getting the cash for this? If 60% do not have the cash to buy what they're going to buy in the department store for Black Friday, where are they getting the cash for it? Credit card. I would like to know how much higher the credit card debt is now than it was last month, because last month we were told by heads of American Express and Bank of America, they have never seen credit card levels of debt this high of a generation. They say it's actually sort of scary. So with all that, what does it mean for you? Number one, you're not doing that. I taught you this earlier this year. You're removing all that debt. You're not paying on any debt. Any debt you have, you get rid of it. You pay it off or you switch it to fixed. You get rid of the debt. Number two, you do not presume job security is there because it's a big business, because of a Fortune 500 company. You just don't presume that. Some of you may be younger, some of you may be older, some of you may have children. Do not presume you work at Kohl's and your job is still there a year from now. Don't presume that you work at Target and your job is still there 6 months from now. Just don't presume anything about that job security. Yes, you may watch this channel. Yes, you may get the corporate earnings in from Ross Department Store. Say, hey, Ross beat dramatically. I have a job. You're good because you know exactly what's happening with your employer because you watch this channel. But if for everyone who doesn't watch this channel, or for every business that I don't cover on this channel, you may not know how good or bad that company is doing. Here again, brother and sister. Brother works at Target, sister works at Walmart. What do you think tonight? The sister at Walmart has a secure job, but the brother at Target may not? Do you know the answer? I really don't know. I would say maybe he does not, but I'm not really secure. Macy's versus Kohl's. Well, Macy's is doing really well. So I think if you have a Macy's job, I think you're pretty good. Kohl's, I would be a little nervous. Travel and leisure, hotels and airline. You already know that's a great job to have because they're doing gangbuster business and they're going to continue to do gangbuster business. So with all that, confusing, absolutely. What do? You become a member. You go right on this video, join this channel. You become a member and start applying for checks. Step 1, you go into this video, subscribe. Step 2, you subscribe to all the other 2 channels of LATE 1, 2, and 3. Number 3, you hit the bells on all 3 channels so you have all alerts set to all on. It's totally free. And number 4, choose one of the channels to become a member to and get that membership newsletter. Go right in and start applying for checks. You can apply for checks on the weekends. Absolutely. Go right in the membership newsletter and start applying for checks in that membership newsletter. Then open those worksheets. The worksheets are down around the 3rd line of the membership newsletter. Here it is right now. You print it out from your computer or cell phone. And in those worksheets, you want to keep track of your stimulus. It's the 2nd page. There's a table in there you can write down the stimulus you're applying for. Check C, for example, you have 12 places to reach out to for 18 checks. That's a lot of checks to keep track of you're applying for. So you want to put it down in your notes and then keep on applying for more checks. It's all about pouncing. As Johnny got 15 applications in 4 days, that's what you should do as well. This is 2022. And for everyone that wants to learn, you're going to earn. For everyone who wants to take the time to watch a 1-hour video from beginning to end, you will learn. For everyone who wants to jump into a live show on any of the 3 channels and learn about what's going on with this economy, learn about the shocking twists and turns, whether it is a bear market rally straight up that's confusing everyone, whether it's a 10% up of the market in a recession, in a bear market, whether it is the implosion of crypto, whether it is the collapse of the housing market, which we have data tonight on that as well. The housing market got even worse in the latest data tonight, and this is after 5 consecutive months of bad data. The housing data shows that it's the slowest pace of growth since December 2011. Sales of previous existing homes are down 6%, the latest numbers compared to the prior month. Sales are down 29% year after year. And the median average price of home is falling dramatically. This is all because of mortgage rates through the roof. You got to know all this because ultimately if you do, and it's not difficult to learn it because I make it fun to learn, then you're going to earn and be ahead of the ball game. You're going to be in such a better position as part of this Purple Power community. You become a member, you stay a member, and you win together as one family. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, thank you for joining me on a big night. The programming continues every night on this channel, with evenings LATE at 5 o'clock prime time every night, and the programming continues on LATE 1, LATE 2, and LATE 3. Become a member, get all these incredible sums of money, and say hello if you're in the live chat, and post your success story as well. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful evening, and as always, stay of LA for more.